to order since Debbie's on now as well. I think we can all see the attendance of everybody. Do we have any minutes from the last meeting? So I know Ina wasn't able to be present. Debbie, you're on mute.
I took them and hi everyone. I typed them all up we had asked a KAI if they could be attached to the invite. Are they attached? Joanna, did the minutes get attached to the invite?
Let me look.
Just the agenda for.
I can, otherwise I'll just can put them up real quick.
Yeah, all I see is the balance sheets and the P&L.
Yeah, we need to make sure that happens because I sent those out within 3 or 4 days after our last meeting. And we did ask that they be attached to the next meeting. It's super important that we have them. And they probably should be sent out within 3 or 4 days. We don't want it to, you know, because otherwise you forget to.
Okay, well, while we're working on that, since we have so much to cover today, I'm going to move along.
They're from February 18th. I'll just send them to you, Tammy, right now.
Okay. Ron mailed out the treasurer's report. Does anybody have any questions on the treasurer's report?
No, he also sent out a profit loss statement, I think for 2021.
Right.
And just for like January and February, so.
If there's no questions, is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I don't have any questions. I'll make the motion to approve the treasurer's report from February
Thank you.
2021.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
Yep.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, treasurer's report. Motion passed. Old business. We've briefly touched on our upcoming May presentation with KAI. Does anyone have any questions? Or anything they'd like to talk about?
Well, hold on, because I'm sending this out. Did we picked a topic, right?
Yes, I was trying to look in my notes.
I'm gonna send it's in the minutes, so if you just give me 1 second, let me send this email and then I've got the minutes pulled up and I'll read what we talked about, because I think before our next meeting, Tammy, we have to have, you know, like a planning for that. We're gonna have to get on top of that because it's the end of May.
Yes.
So, and also we may have a new member who may be willing to be a participant too. And that's Marcella Wilson. If y'all remember Marcella from took over where Val was.
Yes.
Used to be CON, now she's the administrator. Well, I talked to her yesterday and she's planning on joining. They're planning on joining as a facility.
Awesome.
And I asked her, I told her, you know, we're still doing these, you know, the webinars, the LTSS webinars, and she's indicated she would be willing to be a you know, speak. So that's really awesome.
That's fantastic. And since that would bring Consortium back in with U.N.I.T.E, perhaps if she knows the other administrators up in Alaska, she might be able to visit with them about joining us. That would be
right. And there's been some more changes again, because I told Julie this. I called Julie, talked to her a couple times this week, and I told her already I'm finding on that brand new updated form that's on the cms.gov website that some of those contacts are already out of date, if you can believe that.
I can.
So Julie's going to address that at our meeting, about maybe Tammy doing like a quarterly call to make sure that it stays as updated as possible, because a year is a long time in long-term care, a
Oh,
very
it
long
is. The last
Yeah.
report that I read a week or so ago, there's a 94% turnover rate in long-term care right now.
I saw that too. I saw that same one. Did anyone get a chance to listen to the Senate hearing yesterday on nursing homes? Did anyone get a chance to log in and listen?
I did not.
Okay, there was a live Senate. It was pretty interesting. I'd suggest going back to YouTube, seeing if you can find it. It was yesterday, the 17th.
Okay. Well.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm gonna pull it up and right now and just see what we said last month, because I know we talked about this LTSS webinar that's coming up. I just sent you the minutes so you can look at that too. It says U.N.I.T.E board meeting February. Let's see.
I just put the minutes in the chat, so if anyone wants to, you can just click it right there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
U.N.I.T.E will host the May 2021 webinar on how to keep residents and family connected. And so we talked about including the administrators, activity directors, as well as leading age staff. Sherry, I think, did you think about who might from leading age be involved in that?
I did. I actually was trying to connect with Jody Igor and Janine Fink-Boyle and Ruth Katz. They haven't identified who yet. We're looking at schedules, but you know, if you're still open to it, I can definitely find, you know, someone to contribute if, you know, if that's what you
Yeah.
would fit well with your other panel members or however you're planning on doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we probably, Tammy, should nail down some planning dates here pretty soon, because we're already into the middle of March.
Well, April will be here before we know it, so.
Right, so if we had a couple of planning meetings in April, and that would bring us kind of ahead of the game, which would be great. And then maybe have one, you know, like usually a couple of weeks before we do the dry run, and then the day of we log on early. So that would, you know, it wouldn't be this last minute craziness, because we need to have time to, I mean, we may even want to do another Survey Monkey. KAI could set it up for us in terms of what topics, you know, what kind of help us get some bullet points, and then we can flesh out how we want that to look on a PowerPoint.
Okay, well, we'll grab some dates and have an initial meeting and see where we need to go from there. And if KAI wants to send out a survey, I don't care.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to new business, election of officers. So I know when we initially met, when we did the 501, our corporation incorporated, we just did a vote and we did nominations. So I'm sorry that there is not more members on today to be able to vote, but are there any nominations for president?
Does KAI, do you guys have the results of the 6 surveys that were turned in? I think Julie, I talked to Julie Cahoon this morning on the phone, Tammy, and I think she said there were 6 surveys that were turned in.
Okay,
Yes, sorry. My Survey Monkey is acting a little weird. Let me just try to pull it up. Oh, very weird. Okay. Would you like me to share my screen?
Yeah, that'd be great.
please.
Okay, so this is just the overall of it, and then what's going on? let's see. So we can see them individually. Oh, actually, no, never mind. So overall, so are you currently a member of U.N.I.T.E? There's a lot of yeses. Looks like only one person said not currently, and then one person said not sure. And yeah, let's see. Are you interested in holding a position on the U.N.I.T.E board of directors officer position? And it seems like it's a big, one person said they're interested in being the president. Two people said they're interested in being the vice president, and then two people said not interested, and then one person said treasurer. And then how long are you willing to serve? So it looks like there's a lot of different choices, but it seems like it's a mix of 2 years to 1 to 2 years.
Yep.
Do you currently receive the monthly newsletter and or invite to quarterly membership meetings, the third Thursday of March, June, September, and December? And they all said, yeah, everyone said yes. They all received the monthly newsletters. And then will you be attending this meeting? And there's 4 people who said yes, and then 2 people who said they're interested. So we're about it. And then other like long answer responses. So
Okay. So if we go back to the president, there's one person, did you say?
yes, one person who is interested.
Okay. So that person that's interested, I think we should just vote right
Well,
now.
I'm not sure we have the quorum, but Tammy, that was actually me that put my name in there because I really felt like you were wanting to not
Yes.
have a year off.
Yes,
And I understand that. And so, but here was my other thought that I had today, Ina, since you're on the call, since you and Tammy work so closely together and you're actually in long-term care right now, which I'm not actively full-time employed in long-term care, that maybe you would be interested in the president position and I could take over as the treasurer since I, enjoy, keeping up with correspondence and notes and things like that in some aspects. Plus, I'm not a tribal member and I know, I feel kind of badly in a way, even though I've been involved for so long, I feel like our organization should be represented by a tribal member, which I'm not. So that's just a thought I had this morning, that maybe Ina would be willing and I could take over as secretary. But it's up, I haven't even talked to Ina about that, so I'm sorry to put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's how you get things done. But I mean, I've known you long enough, and I think we've all known each other long enough that I like the idea of you and Tammy because you're so close together. So if there was something going on, like she could say, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Like you guys see each other a lot, you work together. It's almost like a mentorship. Whereas I feel like I'm a little bit out of the loop, but I'm better in some ways at the, keeping up with the minutes and the documentation and sending out emails. I'd be happy to do that.
Well, actually, my thought on the whole thing was that I wanted to be a part of U.N.I.T.E yet, but I do need to take a step back from being secretary. So I did want my place to see if someone would like to be secretary and do that. So yeah, that was my thought on what I need to do for myself.
Okay. Could we flip? I don't know, Joseph, where are you on maybe helping Tammy out for a year? Maybe flip-flopping a little bit for a year. Joseph, are you there?
I don't know what you think, Tammy. You and I had spoken earlier when I had called regarding me nominating Debbie to be president.
Right?
We had confidence in you, Debbie, even though you might not be a tribal member or at a facility, that you could do the job for a year if you think I think we should all take turns, perhaps. I'm happy to serve in any role, but as I said, Tammy and I did speak on it, correct, Tammy?
Yes, yes.
And she was supportive in my nominating you, Debbie.
Okay, so Tammy, what about if Ina does not stay as secretary? Do you think like Lisa would jump in, or maybe someone like Tiffany or Deb Arbogast?
Or Brandy, Brandy's on the call.
Brandy Moran, yep,
Um,
someone like that.
Here's my thought. We have not had probably a full quorum this entire year. So I
Okay.
hate to put this off because it will just drag out,
Right,
wait for quorum. So if Joseph is nominating you as president and you filled the survey out that you're willing, I would gladly turn this over to you right this second.
well, okay, and I'm fine with that, but we're still gonna need to get like we really should be able to produce like a ballot, and then everyone could just say, yeah, that all sounds good. I mean, we really need to get,
That's fine.
and we could do that by email as long as we know who's on the ballot. So if you put me on as president, would Joseph stay as vice president then?
Is there anyone else that was interested in vice president? KAI, Melissa? Or James?
Yes, there were two people who said that they were interested in being vice president. It was Joseph Ray and Jordan P. Lewis.
Oh, really, Dr. Lewis? Interesting.
Okay,
Wow.
so I guess you would have to put both of them on the
Yes.
ballot.
Yeah, wow, Dr. Lewis. So Dr. Lewis is what, in Minneapolis now, or Minneapolis, Minnesota. He was with Anchorage Native Tribal Health Consortium, and he was very involved in U.N.I.T.E for quite a while, if you remember back.
I'm willing to withdraw my name.
I
I
don't know.
think you should withdraw it, Joseph. I just think you should both be on the ballot.
Yeah, I wouldn't withdraw, Joseph, because I mean, so did anyone, KAI, did anyone say they would take the secretary?
1 second, let me see. Secretary, I don't think so. No, no one said secretary. There was one person who was interested in being the treasurer.
Was that Ron Ross or someone else?
It was Ron Ross.
Okay, so I think maybe we need to approach like Lisa, Brandy, Tiffany, Deb Arbogast, and see if they would be willing to be a secretary.
Okay.
And
This
give
is
Ina-
Brandy. I would help with the secretary if you guys needed help. I keep trying to talk, but I keep getting muted.
Who is this?
It's Brandy.
This is Brandy.
Oh, nice, Brandy. So nice to hear
I
you.
keep trying to talk, but I'm muted. And
Okay.
I keep trying to unmute myself, and then it keeps muting me again.
Oh, that's probably a setting. Can you check on that?
I'm on the
Joanna?
phone. It might be my phone.
Oh,
Unmuted, and so as long as she's not pressing mute on her phone, she should be good.
okay.
Yeah, it just keeps going back to it, so I keep having to press the *6. And it's okay though. I mean, it's working.
And Brandy, you're
No, but I
currently
would be willing to help if you guys need me to be secretary.
nice. And you're currently the administrator, right?
Yep, at the White River Health Care Center.
Perfect. Okay. All right. Okay. So really, Tammy, I mean, that would be a nice ballot, you
I
know?
think that would be wonderful, Brandy.
Okay. Thank you, Brandy. Thank you for doing that.
Awesome. Well, cool. There we go.
So there's our ballot. So Ina, can you type that up, get it to KAI, and they need to send that out, or we can do a survey, however you guys want to do that.
Either way, I can get it typed up and sent over to Julie.
Okay, so if we vote, Tammy, if we can announce the winners at our April meeting, which is not a membership meeting, or we could announce them before that, we we didn't get this all straightened out when we set up the bylaws. When would this person take effect? Like, when would this
It's gonna
change take
take an
effect?
effect in January, but we couldn't get enough people together
Okay,
to.
okay, so it would basically be effective immediately
yes,
with
like,
a stop date of, say, January 15th of next year. So we would have to have some kind of an election before January 15th of next year. How does that sound?
right, right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Do you want to take over now, Debbie? Alrighty, well then we get that out, we'll have that situated. So I'm going to move on. Thank you to all of you willing to participate to be officers. It's very important. And I think it's important for us in keeping our Unite vision moving forward. In new business, if KAI has any updates, the newsletter and COVID reports they'd like to share.
So 2 questions that need to be raised, which I guess you all talked about, and the questions are kind of hinted at. The first is that we wanted to see like how you were feeling about the current process of the board meetings and how you would like, if you like it like this or if you want to change it going forward. And the second part was that we would like a united member list or a Unite member list. You don't hear me?
We can hardly understand, Mavissa. I don't know if you're not coming in very clear or.
What about now? Because I'm talking to my computer speaker. Can you all hear me?
We can hear you. It's
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so the first point I wanted to bring up was just how you all feel about the current process of the board meetings. Do you want to make any changes to it, or do you like how it's going now?
The one thing that I would like, and so it makes sense to me today that we met at 12:30. But I think year round, because continually, we have confusion on what times we're meeting. I think Mountain Time should be 1 o'clock, 12 months out of the year, Eastern Time, 3 o'clock, 12 months out of the year, whatever. But I think on the invite, you need to put that time on there because everybody has confusion of what time we're meeting. I'm the only person it would ever change for is Debbie because they don't do standard and daylight savings and all that.
Right.
But if
Right. So I talked to Julie about this too, Tammy. So it'd be 3 p.m. Eastern time. Ron had asked whether we could do 2 p.m. Eastern time. I think that was a change because of some other meetings he has. And my comment on email was, like Tammy said, we've had so much confusion over the last few years that I think it's better just to leave it. You know, if we vote on a change, great, and we can set a date for that to happen. But to just all of a sudden say next month we're going to do this, I think it's just too confusing.
it is confusing.
So right now it's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so just figure it out from at all year, 365 days a year. It's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the 3rd Thursday. Now the board meetings are every single month. So the months that we don't have the membership meetings, so March, June, September, December, we agreed to have our membership meetings. So that means that we would actually meet 2:30 Eastern Standard Time as a board and then 3 for the meeting. But any other month except those 4 months, we're going to meet at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's how that would look.
Please put that on the invite.
Yeah.
Put the times on the invite just so in case somebody looked at something wrong, it would just be clear.
And the other thing, Tammy, that Julie and I talked about this morning are these lists that she's talking about, Mavissa's talking about. So we basically have 3 lists, okay? One list is the current board members. That's list number 1. List number 2 is the current board members plus anyone who's actually paid money. That's the second list. The third list is really our stakeholder list. These are all the people, probably hundreds, who have been involved with us since 2014. Not all of them are board members, not all of them are paid members. but we should keep that list because we may need them for something, right? They are our stakeholders.
Right.
So when she asks like to send out a survey, we don't need to send the survey to the list number 3 of all our stakeholders. And if they do that, KAI has to do that through chimp mail. The problem with that is it often goes to people's junk mail and then they miss it.
Mhm.
So anything like a survey, Mavissa, would probably just be sent to list number 2. And we don't have right now what Ron gave to KAI is list number 2, but it doesn't have all the emails on there, Tammy. So I'm gonna, with what I'm doing right now for U.N.I.T E, I'm gonna see if I can nail down all those emails with Julie, okay?
Okay. That sounds great.
And I realized that I had updated the time, but it was only on the last invite. I didn't do it for the series. I only did it for like one email invite. So I apologize. Because I was like, I added the times, but I see it only went on the last invite and not for the series.
Okay. Well, I appreciate anything you do, but I just think if we can eliminate, the more we can eliminate confusion, the better off we'll be.
Yes.
I don't know if anyone's monitoring chat, but I do see a note from Joseph in chat saying that he would like to see the meeting notice come out a week to 5 days before the monthly meeting. So again, just thinking of all those different ways that we can help make sure we're getting the message out clearly to folks. That might be another opportunity.
Yeah,
Yep, that sounds great.
yeah.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the COVID report at all?
This is Jamie. I can talk briefly about it. So we had our last meeting, and Blythe and a few others. We only had a few amount of people come, so we sent out an email to all the members asking if they would prefer a kind of like quarterly meeting. So far I've received no like oppositions to that. So we're gonna be as long as I don't receive any more like oppositions emails for that, we'll move to a quarterly meeting session, just because it seems we've been having low attendance, but everyone still really likes the U.N.I.T.E COVID report, so that will still continue. Just the meeting changes, the amount of times we meet will change. But yeah, if anyone else has any questions or concerns about this change, like I'm all ears, and so is everyone else.
Perfect.
And Deb, I just saw your question in the chat. It's going to be on the same line.
Oh, it is? Okay, great.
Okay. So anyone that joins the membership meeting will just be joining on this call, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to keep going until we see other people have joined.
At some point, we should take attendance.
Sure.
Liza,
Okay.
did you use the, or am I saying that right, Liza? Okay. All right. Did you use the link for the hour-long meeting to join this one? Okay, great.
I did not. I joined the one that just said board meeting.
Oh, right. Yeah, we made it the same link, but I saw Liza join right at like, it's 3 o'clock my time. So I saw her join at the top of the hour. And,
Okay.
yeah, that was for the.
So it worked out okay. All right. Okay.
Okay, well, I'm going to move on to Sherry because they also have asked us about a presentation, and I don't know what else, Sherry, you'd like to share with us, but I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, okay, thank you. So I did, one thing I did want to mention, and I'll put the link here in the chat, is that we have our upcoming lobby day at Leading Age, and all U.N.I.T.E board members and members are welcome to sign up for it. It is virtual. We hope that you could sign up before the end of March. And the reason why is that they will be building groups to make appointments with congressional leaders and their staff. So please feel free to go out and register for that. And, you know, there's no charge. It's all virtual. And we hope that you will participate and will have your voice there. There'll be some planning meetings that will happen with Leading Age, and to talk about, you know, subject matters for you to also participate in that. So I'll be sure and share those out with you as I receive them. But this is probably the, you know, the most current information. We of course are not having our spring conference, but we are having our conference in the fall. And right now we do anticipate that that will be in person, but we know that things are subject to change. And that will be held in Atlanta.
That would be cool.
And then I would just, you know, say if you have any other specific questions or you're not receiving Leading Age information, to please let me know that. I'm happy to, I try and ensure that whoever I see on the email and the board meetings is in Leading Age's system, so you can get regular updates. But if you're not, please let me know that, and I can double check on what's happening with that. Does anyone have any questions about Leading Age or what currently is happening that I can follow up for you?
So can you, this is Debbie, can you give us an update? I had emailed Sherry Jody yesterday or the day before about that Lisa project with the infusion. Do you know, like I found it on Google, I looked it up, but I'm really unclear. Like, is that, what are they doing with that with long-term care?
You know,
So-
I don't know about that, but I can check in with Jody. I haven't heard about that. Was that something you read in like Leading Age Need to Know?
Leading Age, it was on a Leading Age last week. It was, they mentioned it.
I'm sorry,
Agenda.
Debbie, you went mute. I couldn't hear you.
So they were, hold on.
Now you're muted, Debbie.
It was on the Leading Age call last week. It was on the agenda. They're using like the medical volunteers, you know, to supposedly do these infusions in long-term care centers, but I really haven't seen too much anywhere else about this, but you guys brought it. I mean, I didn't see it on your website, but you brought it up. It was one of the agenda items on a Leading Age call last week. So, but then it just kind of disappeared. Maybe it was the week before. So
Okay, I'll check with Ruth Katz, who Jody works for, to see if there's any information about that that can be shared. And it was on a call last week, you were saying.
yeah,
on
and there
the
was
Thursday
a
calls?
PDF. I downloaded the PDF. Here, infusion support activity.
Okay,
Lisa, Lisa.
okay. All right, well, let me check into that. I haven't heard anything more about
Okay.
it than from last week, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'll just again, Sherry, thank you for all you do for us. It's greatly appreciated.
Oh, well, I'm glad to be a part of the team.
And
Was
Sherry,
Sherry,
I-
was Leading Age involved with the McKnight's online expo yesterday and today?
No,
Okay.
not that I'm aware of, yeah.
well, Sherry, I just wanted to say I am getting Leading Age information, and thank you very much. So
Good to
I'm
hear.
connected.
I'm glad. And those of you with KAI, I don't know if it would be appropriate for for me to either be forwarding you things, or Tammy and Debbie, would you like for us to include them in our database so they can be receiving things too? Or you can write me online if you'd like, you know, how you might want to handle that.
I don't know if we kind of discussed this when we first forged our partnership 2 years ago. I'm
Mhm.
not sure if there's any issues with taking stuff like, you know, copyright or whatever, things like that, taking stuff that you guys put out and then say putting it in our U.N.I.T.E. newsletter or putting it on our website. it'd be kind of interesting. Like I've been doing some work on our website. Like right now there's a link, and when I click on it on the U.N.I.T.E website, it takes me right to the Leading Age website.
Mhm.
But it would be nice, like we get feeds from CMS onto our website. So when CMS puts something out, it feeds right onto our website. It's like a live feed. It'd be nice to have that on our website feeding from Leading Age. That would be a really nice thing. Is
Yeah.
that possible?
I don't know, but I can ask our web folks if that's possible. I mean, to answer to talk about the first part of your question is that, yes, I mean, we have our monthly newsletter that goes out, and you are welcome to pick up from that and reuse it in the
Okay.
newsletter. And I've been sending that to primarily Julie on a monthly basis so she can pull information from there. You are always welcome to, if there's something in particular that you find of interest, we have no issue with you linking on our site from a hot link if there's something specific you think would be valuable to the U.N.I.T.E membership. And if there's anything that you feel questionable about, just give me a call. I'll tell you that with our other relationships we have with our state partners, they often are, in a sense, recycling some of the same information from our need to know into their state newsletters, along with what the state focus is or pertinent matters at the state level. So in our eyes, we see you as in a very similar relationship. So, please do feel free to do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before this board?
I think I had asked to be put on the agenda.
Whoops, you cut out.
I think I had asked to be put on the
Oh,
agenda.
yes.
Is
So
this, can I speak now?
Yeah, turn it over, right over to you.
Not that I haven't already been speaking, but so just so everyone knows, I am doing some work right now. I'm kind of between positions, so I had a little extra time, not really, but you know me, I'm always busy. But I decided just to do some help U.N.I.T.E with a few little things. So I'm working on membership. The CMS, I mentioned this earlier. I don't know if all of you were on the call, but CMS.gov, they had updated in 2021 all the listed tribal nursing homes and assisted livings. So I'm just kind of circling back to that list, calling people up, making changes as needed, asking them if they want to join U.N.I.T.E. I'm pleased to say that at Kotzebue, where Val Crail used to be, Marcella Wilson was the DON. Some of you met her at one of our yearly conferences. She's now the administrator, and I talked to her yesterday, and she does want their facility to join U.N.I.T.E, which is great. And I talked to her about maybe speaking on one of our, maybe like our April call or May call, because she said they are very close. They are the only nursing home in the country that's allowing seal oil. And many of you know that was a lot of hard work that Val Crail did. And she's picked that up, and they are very close to that all just being embedded and happening. So this is, she'd like to talk to us about that a little. So I invited her to maybe be on one of our next calls. I'm really proud that they've kept that up. She said to me, until I moved up here, I never would have believed it. But she said the people that use seal oil, she said they're so strong and so healthy. And she said, if I could get it into pill form, I take it. But as many of you know, when I worked for a health service advisory group here in Phoenix, QIO, in 2019, I had Val send me a quart of seal oil so I could let all my colleagues try it, and it smells absolutely awful. But it's fine. You can dip it on, carrots or crackers or whatever, but it has to be kept cold like the vaccine. So it comes, I had to go to the Phoenix International Airport and go to a special section where the frozen stuff comes in to pick it up and keep it frozen. So that was interesting in the summer here when it was like 112. So anyway, that's going on. Membership is going on. I'm looking a little bit at the website. I definitely have some thoughts about the website. If you have not logged on to our new website recently, I'd really, really encourage you to do that. Tammy, most of the links were working. There were a couple I think we could add. For example, Lisa had asked on our February call about Tipa Snow's work. I think we could link to that. I think we could link to like Tipa Snow's work would be one thing. The other suggestion I had was, since we're selling, memberships now, do we need kind of a login process, where people create an account to access the website, or do we just want to leave it? Like, we might want to have a members only section, which we really don't have right now.
I don't know, I would add Ron in that conversation. He does have the link to be able to use PayPal for people to automatically pay. So I would want him to join that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, does anyone else have any thoughts about a member only section? Maybe that's where we could have the feed from Leading Age or something like that for people who have actually paid for their membership. Anyone have any thoughts on that?
This is Lisa. That's kind of a good point, is we want to invite people to join and pay dues. And if so, what do I get extra, if you will, for that? So that might be something to consider.
Something else, Debbie, that you might think about is Banner Alzheimer's Institute.
Oh,
That does
yeah.
do so much work with Native Americans and dementia. If there was a way we could have a link with them, would be good.
That's a great idea. That is a really good idea.
And also I had a couple other thoughts when I was just kind of browsing around. Some of the links take you to like traditional food sites, and they had like music, and I thought, oh, it'd be really nice on our site to maybe have some pictures or link to some music, because it was kind of nice playing music in the background while I was doing work. So maybe something like that, because we certainly have a pretty good arsenal of pictures right now. So we could have a photo gallery with maybe some music. What do you guys think?
I think that'd be fine. Well, and each tribe's music would be different.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like actual examples from our tribal nursing homes. You know what I mean? Not just like something you'd find on the internet, but actual live music. So
Okay.
what we might be able to do, Tammy, I don't want to take this too deep on this call, but have like a little separate group of us, 3 or 4 of us meet and just kind of, put the website up on the screen and kind of just think that through a little bit and what changes we might want to make, and then bring that back for a vote.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds great.
Okay, good.
Anything else, Debbie?
Probably, but I don't want to take the whole hour.
Okay. And Lisa, I just have to stop and ask, are you still in Alaska?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I am. In fact, I was excited to hear that Marcella was going to be talking about her project there. She's fantastic, and so I'm excited to remain connected with her and the rest of the Alaska nursing homes. I'm also taking a mini retirement here and not working, but I've just accepted some contract work with our state hospital and nursing home association. So I'll be helping doing a Project Echo up here. So I'm still trying to keep my fingers connected in the Alaska healthcare and especially my long-term care contacts. So
Wonderful. Well, if you ever have an opportunity to speak with any of the folks up there in that might want to join us, that'd sure be awesome.
oh, for sure. And I'm connected with my replacement at Mountain Pacific. Her name is Dana Mitchell.
Yeah.
I've worked with her throughout my 7 years at Mountain Pacific, and actually I highly recommended her for the job. So I will, and we've talked about U.N.I.T.E, but I'll just make sure it's on her radar. I've forwarded a couple of emails and so forth. So if she's not, joining, or if I'm not seeing her attend some things, I'll probably just kind of shoot her another reminder just to let her know that this group exists, a reminder that this group exists and what they can do to help support our tribal nursing homes in Alaska.
Okay, wonderful. And then somebody has joined us with a phone number 605 259 3161. Can I ask who that might be?
That's me, Debbie. It's Brandy.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
Brandy, that's Brandy.
Just I'm on my computer doesn't have speakers, so I came in on the phone and I was on because when you get on, you can do the phone for audio, and for some reason it has my number on there too.
Oh,
So
okay. All right,
it's
perfect.
just me double.
I didn't want to miss anybody. Okay.
Lisa, I wanted to ask Lisa, is the Anchorage Native Tribal Health Consortium, is that still in existence?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're our big hospital. They do the inpatient, they have the inpatient hospital. South Central Foundation has all the outpatient services.
Do you know who took over for Dr. Lewis, Jordan Lewis?
He was with the university.
Okay.
They connected with ANTHC. They got the GWEP.
Okay.
Yeah, things got all kind of crazy up here with that. Jordan, as you know, has left the state, and I'm not sure who's taken that position, if anybody.
Okay.
Yeah. I've not made much contact with the person that's done the GWEP work here. I know his name was David Fenn.
Oh,
but
okay.
I don't know.
Did you hear from that Dana Mitchell? Because I think you were going to reach out to her. Did you hear anything?
I lost you there, Debbie.
Did you hear from that Dana Mitchell? I remember when Lisa mentioned that was her replacement, we were going to reach out to her. I wasn't sure if we ever heard from
I haven't heard anything.
No, for Ina. Is Ina still on the call? Oh, maybe she's not. Okay.
No, she's here.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Ina, did you hear anything from that Dana Mitchell with that QIO with the Mountain Pacific?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Probably worth another email. I know she's just started in the job, I think earlier this month. So maybe one of those, she's still trying to figure out who's on first and what she needs to respond to. Certainly feel free to use my name, say Lisa's worked with us and has referred you. I think that might help because she's following my leads pretty nicely. So I imagine she'll get back to you if we reach out to her.
Okay.
And if not, let me know.
Okay. Well, if there is no more new business to come before this board, I will call this meeting adjourned.
Oh, well, wait, one more thing. Can we set up some dates for the LTSS webinar? Because, it's so much harder to do this when we're all off the call and trying to email back and forth. So for KAI, when would we have to have everything ready for you as far as the PowerPoint and do the final run through? What's our date on that? I guess Mavissa could answer that.
I don't know if you all can hear me, but Debbie, you cut out on my.
Okay, so can you hear me now? So Mavissa, I know we're presenting the fourth Wednesday in May, which is the Wednesday before Memorial Day weekend, right? And my question is, when's the deadline for having everything in place and doing a dry run? Because we need to prepare for that.
So it's still cutting on my end, but you said the Wednesday before Memorial Day is when you would want to have it, the webinar?
Well, your LTSS webinars are always the same. They're always the fourth Wednesday of the month, which in this case would be May 26th. Is that still a good date for our webinar?
This is Christina. So from KAI.
Okay,
So usually I think we aim to have the dry run a week before. So in theory, that would be May 19th. So we would probably want to have slides and everything in to us during the week of May 10th. So that would be the ballpark timing. So
Okay.
does that sound doable?
yes. So Tammy, I'm thinking we should have a call maybe for that week after Easter. And
Okay,
then maybe again the week of the 19th. So we have all the decisions made about what we're going to put on the slides and who's going to present and all that. And then someone can put that all together the week of the 26th. Does that sound okay?
it does.
Okay.
Another important component I think we need to add to this presentation that's representative of our native homes are the people in social services.
Yeah.
Because I know for ourselves here, our social services person stays in very close contact with our families. And she's the liaison, you know, directly for our elders. I think that we should hear from them as well.
Okay. So I would just ask that everybody be thinking, if you are an administrator at a nursing home and you're on this call, be thinking really hard about who on your staff, maybe a social worker, activity director, or yourself would be willing to be on a panel. So these LTSS webinars are usually a panel of 4, 5, 6 people. And then we'll meet together as a group the week after Easter and the week of the 19th, and we'll pull together our presentation, okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, so we'll need to know if you have an idea, if you go back and say, hey, would you be willing to be on this one webinar, and they agree, please forward me their name as soon as possible so I can start creating a list of people, okay? Okay.
Do we know, is Rosie Abad still at Archie Hendricks, or, because Ron had mentioned a name the other day and I wasn't familiar with who that is. Does anyone know? Do they have a new administrator again?
That I know of, Rosie's still there, Tammy. I know Ron was in Tucson and met with their new Medicaid kind of waiver person and
Oh,
got to speak with him. But as far as I know, Rosie's still there.
okay,
And I think Ron was really working hard to try to get them back into membership.
good,
Yeah.
okay. Anything else? Alrighty then, thank you everyone, and this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, Tammy.
You bet, bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.